Thank you for joining me, Lara Land, for Publication Day. It's my birthday. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. So good to see everyone. Today, May 2nd, is a day I've been looking forward to for quite some time. The buildup is real. Hello. Hi. Oh my gosh, you're all making me nervous. A lot of people here. It's a Tuesday. I love Tuesdays. And it is May 2nd. It's my birthday month. We're in the sign of Taurus, Earth sign. So I'm going to actually tap into some of that grounding, right? I need that right now. So I'm so overjoyed and excited and elated about this book and Shambhala Publications taking a chance on me with my new book out today, The Essential Guide to Trauma-Sensitive Yoga. Just a little bit about me, since there's maybe some new folks here. Again, my name is Lara Land, and they've tagged me, but you can find me at Lara Land Yoga here on Instagram. I've been teaching, I've been practicing yoga for about 25 years, and I stepped into teaching pretty much very soon after I started practicing, probably too soon. And my experience early on was in working with trauma survivors, specifically genocide survivors in Rwanda. And then HIV positive women and children also in India, and then back in New York City, where I lived for many years. Had a yoga studio there and formed a nonprofit called 3.5 Acres Yoga in 2014. And we train yoga teachers in trauma sensitivity, and then we place them in nonprofits and shelters and community centers to share yoga, meditation, and mindfulness practices with trauma survivors. So we work specifically with LGBTQIA youth who've maybe been kicked out of their homes, which is all too common. We work with shelters, dealing with domestic abuse, with folks that are unhoused, or dealing with food insecurity, and also injustice issues. So people dealing with immigration issues, folks coming out of incarceration. And that's just like a little bit of what we do with 3.5 Acres Yoga. And my personal experience working with folks who have been through trauma. And so this book is really a condensed manual. It's really a go-to manual for teachers, practitioners, yoga interested, like maybe people, because there's a lot of chair practices in here. There's a lot of things, somatic experiencing practices in here, so you don't even have to necessarily be super comfortable with yoga or think yoga is for you. You also don't have to identify as a trauma survivor. We all have stuff that we're carrying. And in the book, I explain a lot about the ways that trauma is passed down, and that traumatic experiences aren't always the obvious ones that we think, like these one-time events. So, we're all touched by trauma, and having a bigger awareness of your community and the ways that different people might be suffering, it helps us to be more sensitive to each other and understand how we're all swimming in a culture that is unnatural in its speed and in what it's asking of us, and these practices can really help us. So I hope you'll pick up a copy. Like I said, it's really for anyone curious about breath and body and the connection between that and our emotional and spiritual states. And it's got these great margins with folks already telling me that they're taking notes in. This is, if you're a yoga teacher, this is the book you want to carry with you to class. Take a quick note, take a quick look at, this is how I can turn that pose into a chair pose and make it more accessible for someone. And it can help you with sequencing, use of chair, a lot of really cool stuff in here. I promised Shambhala that I would do a practice today. I'm thinking about grounding, and I'm thinking about awakening sensation for the purpose of really knowing what we want. So, as I said, all of us in today's day and age are dealing with the unnatural rhythms of life and a disconnect from a real deep understanding of what makes us feel good. And that comes down to just the moment to moment in the ways that we can ignore, what we're feeling, that we might be cold or that we might need to shift position because we don't have time, right? And we daydream, and which is a kind of form of dissociation. We disconnect from our bodies and, we walk around as talking heads. So these practices can help us become more embodied. Grounding is used in therapy and all types of therapy as well. So it's really something that is acknowledged and respected in many different modalities. And grounding, connecting to support from the earth, can help us to come into present moment. And I'm going to just build us through in this practice what the book does, which is take us through this walk between grounding, coming into that support, and then opening awareness to sensation as we're ready, and then making choices. So the more we're aware of what our body's telling us, the more agency that we have over what we want to do, right? Then once we get that information, we can make different choices. So if you're somewhere where it's possible and you want to join me, I invite you to join me for a little bit of a grounding practice. And maybe I'll read some directly from the book just so you can get a sense of the book. So with all my practices, and especially in the spirit of this book, you are 100% in choice. So please, if something I'm saying doesn't resonate for you or you want to interpret it differently, please practice in a way that feels intuitive and healthy for you wherever you're at right now. But you may take a moment now to notice your position. If you're seated, perhaps bringing your feet in contact with the ground or the surface below them, such as a footrest if you're in a wheelchair. Now turn your attention to the feeling of your feet making contact. Even in cases of paralysis, many people express that they can experience sensations in those parts of their body through directed attention and enhance them via visualization. You might visualize your feet. If you're in a chair and your feet don't touch the floor, you might place blocks or stack of books under them to create contact with a grounding surface. Without moving anything, can you allow your feet to take a little more support from that surface? Without moving, is there a way of letting go of extra tension? You can try this in a chair, on the ground. What happens when you accept support? And maybe stop trying to hold yourself up so much. Just allowing the ground, the earth, the chair, the bed to do the work for you. And recognizing that if at any time it's too much, you're always in choice to make a different choice, to come out, move your body, move back in and out of the practice to support your health. Awakening sensation and awakening connection. Part of the dissociation that happens in response to trauma is a lack of sensation in the body. So you might stay in this grounding position as you hear these words. This highly intelligent way of escaping from pain can linger as a defense mechanism post-trauma, and yoga provides an opportunity when the individual is ready to wake up to that sensation again. In trauma-sensitive yoga, we do this by slowly and intentionally bringing the mind's attention to different parts of the body. So we might practice that now. You might move your attention up the feet, now into the calves. Into the knees. And noticing if there's any parts of your body that feel particularly safe or good or even neutral, and knowing that if I direct you into any part of the body that doesn't feel that way, you can come to that safer, more comfortable place. And bring your mind into your thighs, into your back. Just noticing the way awareness can move. Maybe awakening information in parts of ourselves that's been cut off. And just knowing that if a place was cut off, that's not bad or wrong. That was the body doing what was right for you. And yet it might be time that you're ready to awaken sensation again. You might bring your mind to the sides of your body, along the rib cage, under the arms, maybe into your belly. Again, remembering that at any time you might move your attention to a place that feels more supportive and safe for you. And bring your mind into your chest, maybe into the heart center, shoulders, down the arms, feeling to the sensations of your wrists, your hands, your palms, between the fingers. Maybe noticing subtle differences in sensation from one finger to the next, or from big muscle groups to small muscle groups. So much awareness is available for us. We take the time to tune in. You might bring your mind into the muscles of the face, relaxing in the cheekbones, relaxing in the brow. Even the hairs relax. And then noticing your hands, if your palms are up or down. If it feels okay for you, you might turn them both down for a moment. And just notice how that feels. And then turn them up. And just notice how this subtle change, palms down or palms up, can really change the quality of sensation, right? It's a difference. And you might try it a few times. If you don't feel anything different, that's also okay. That's what's happening right now. And maybe you choose one, palms up or palms down. You might know why you made that choice. You might not. You might not know what to choose. If that happens, that's okay. Just go with one. And just recognizing and feeling into that you made a choice. Some people choose one palm up, one palm down. And just being with your choice today and knowing you can change your mind. If you chose palms up and you don't like it anymore, flip them over. You don't have to wait for me. Just one more breath here. And we might come back together into the space if your eyes were down or closed. I'm just taking a breath. And I hope that exercise is so subtle, but I hope it could demonstrate how small choices can have a really profound impact on our feelings and on our state. And how these small adjustments that we can make, and as teachers that we can suggest and remind our students of, that can allow them to really feel the agency in their practice and to make the choices that are right for them. And when they might be feeling like the teacher's in charge or they're out of their element, they have these choices and can lean into their own comfort, as can you. So I hope today, in honor of this book birthday, that you'll think about and practice leaning into your own comfort and safety and making those subtle shifts and choices that are right for you and honoring them. And I'm very accessible, so if you have any reactions to this practice or these concepts, I'd love to hear from you. And as you're reading the book, I'd love to hear from you as well. Send in your reviews, share with friends. My dream is that all yoga teachers everywhere will have training in trauma sensitivity. I'll be touring with some trainings around New Jersey, New York, Miami Life Center, and Kripalu. And hopefully we'll be touring your city. I'm happy to be invited to your city or yoga studio if you would like to make sure your teachers are, as they should be, trained in trauma sensitivity. And we have an online training with the nonprofit coming up at the end of September, beginning of October. So my feeling is that every single yoga teacher training program should have a deep dive into trauma sensitivity. In the book, you'll get the nuts and bolts, how to set up your room in a safe way. And I'll just point out that at the very, very back of the book, there's this concluding chapter, Yoga as Service, which I think is really important. And we'll give some insights if you're that yoga teacher that wants to know, like, how can I get out into a shelter or do more service-based yoga? Like, what should I think about if I'm going to teach in a food bank? So again, it's a kind of a download of a couple decades of research and experience, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you all for giving me a chance, taking time out of your day to share in this practice with me. It's very humbling, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, goodbye for now.